On Friday evening, Chelsea was informed that Bayern Munich had emerged as Michael Olise's preferred destination. Football. London reported earlier this week that the Blues had received permission from Crystal Palace to speak with Olise's camp, and that the outcome of those negotiations was crystal clear. As per The Athletic, Chelsea pulled out from the exchange race for Olise as they felt funds included were far off. Just a few minutes later, it was made public that Bayern had received approval from Olise to exercise his £60 million release clause. Stamford Bridge has been interested in Olise for some time, but his desire to play at the highest level is clear, and the German Giants are the only interested club that will play in the Champions League next season. Taking into account how Chelsea have acted in late exchange windows, pulling out of the race was presumably a shrewd choice, yet what they really do next will be crucial to that excess thusly. Spain and Athletic Club star Nico Williams has been illuminating Euro 2024, and with that move joins have naturally arisen. The winger, who has a release clause of around £55 million and is being watched by Arsenal and Chelsea, does not currently have a summer transfer rumour. Williams is fit for playing on one or the other flank, yet his inclination is on the left, with 28 of his 31 La Liga appearances coming on that side, according to Transfermarkt. Despite not having scored or assisted in any of Spain's 136 minutes played at the tournament this summer, the 21-year-old has been electric, and Chelsea is free to pursue his services if they so choose. Chelsea could move for Spain Euro 2024 star Nico Williams, Romano says. He added, in the recent months, even before the Euros, several clubs have asked for information on Nico Williams. Chelsea had him on waitlist currently the previous summer, then they needed Cole Palmer, Weapon Store, and Liverpool talked about Nico few months prior. Nico remains on Barcelona's shortlist. Nico Williams is accessible for around €58 million because of a delivery proviso in his Athletic Club bargain, yet the signs are that he needs to stay in Spain. Despite the fact that Barca is still following him, a deal is hard to make because of their poor financial situation. As a result, Chelsea has every right to keep an eye on his case. Chelsea have inserted themselves into the race for highly rated Bundesliga striker Maximilian Bayer, according to a top German source, but they are still expected to bid again for another target up front. After the addition of Nicholas Jackson last summer, Chelsea are once again in the market for a centre-forward. Jackson scored a respectable 17 goals in his debut season, but the Blues want someone for him to compete with. On that front, they have been linked with various targets. A new name under consideration, according to Sky Sports Deutschland's Florian Plettenberg, is Bayer. The Hoffenheim hitman has already been linked with a Premier League move this summer. There have been reports about interest from Liverpool, Manchester United and Everton, among others. But Chelsea have concrete interest in Bayer, according to Plettenberg, and have been taking in information about him this week. There is a €30 million release clause in Bayer's contract, so Chelsea know how much they would have to spend in order to sign him. Equating to just over £25 million, it could be good value for money. Bayer scored 16 goals in 33 Bundesliga appearances this season, in what was his first full top-flight campaign. Only 4 players, all playing for sides who finished above Hoffenheim, scored more than him in Germany's top tier, and it has also led to him attracting the league's champions, Bayer Leverkusen. Julian Nagelsmann went on to include Bayer in Germany's squad for Euro 2024, but he has been an unused substitute in their first 2 group games. Chelsea would have to be persuasive to convince Bayer, who isn't in a hurry to leave Hoffenheim unless it's for the perfect project. His contract remains valid until 2027, and he will have Europa League football on offer with his current club next season, compared to Chelsea, who will just be in the Conference League. Perhaps with all that in mind, Plettenberg has concluded that Chelsea are not leading the race for Bayer as things stand, but he is definitely someone to keep an eye on now. Chelsea's search for the ideal striker has also led him to other names such as Aston Villa's John Duran and Atletico Madrid's Samu Omarodian. Both of those targets remain in the spotlight too, though ultimately only one will be picked. First and foremost, it's expected that Chelsea will return with a new offer for Omarodian after their first, worth up to €40 million, was rejected. David Ornstein, a journalist for The Athletic, claims that Chelsea and Omari Kellyman, a young player from Aston Villa, are getting closer to signing a deal. The Blues have spent over £1 billion since a Todd Boehly drove consortium assumed control over the West London club in May 2022, and they give no indications of ending their monetary expense. Chelsea have been one of the most dynamic clubs such a long ways with affirmed interest in Michael Olise, Samuel Omarodian, John Duran, Aaron Anselmino and others. Additionally, Ornstein has reported that Chelsea and Aston Villa are close to an agreement regarding the young forward Kellyman. Finer details still need to be finalised between the two clubs, and player and Kellyman will need to undergo a medical and agree personal terms before a deal can be completed. It is understood, deal is expected to be struck for around £19 million. The 19-year-old has up to this point just played multiple times for Aston Manor and showed up, playing against Manchester City and Gem Castle. Chelsea, not giving up on Atletico Madrid's Omar, according to transfer expert Fabrizio Romano, who has provided an update on other players the Blues are interested in. Chelsea continue to discuss internally a potential move for Atletico Madrid's Samuel Omar, having seen a bid worth €40 million rejected by the La Liga club, Romano wrote in his Court Offside column. Atletico see the 20-year-old as a big talent for the future and hopes to keep him at the club this summer. His value could rise to around €90 million in the future. However, Chelsea aren't giving up on Omar and are waiting to see what happens with the club team. In the meantime, the Premier League team has contacted the player to see if the forward is interested in moving to Stamford Bridge before the 2024-25 season. Romano added, Chelsea's interest in Boca Juniors talent Aaron Anselmino is genuine, and the Premier League club are looking into how to complete a deal for the 19-year-old talent, regarding a potential deal for Anselmino. All parties involved are having discussions to learn the specifics of the $25 million release clause in the Argentine's contract. Although there has not yet been a formal proposal, Chelsea are unquestionably keeping an eye on him among many potential talents. New Chelsea signing Estevao Willian is the greatest player born in Brazil since Neymar, according to World Cup winner Branco. The Blues have reached an agreement worth €57 million, £48 million, with Palmeiras for Estevao, with the West London club paying €34 million up front and a further €23 million in potential add-ons. 17-year-old Estevao will not join Chelsea until he turns 18 next year, with highly rated Ecuador international Kendry Páez set to move to Stamford Bridge at the same time. Estevao is already making pundits and former players sit up and take notice in his homeland despite only making 22 appearances for Brazilian side Palmeiras, and Branco reckons Estevao is the greatest player he's seen, born in Brazil, since Neymar, with Chelsea set to land one of the best prospects in world football. It's been a long time since we've had these kids there, and Brazil has a spectacular generation, Branco told Canal WAMO. Brazil for 2026 will arrive very strong. They'll arrive with strength, speed and quality. Estevao, for me, with all due respect to the others, this is something serious, something that I've never said and I'm going to say. Since Neymar, he is the greatest player I've seen born in Brazil. This is my opinion, you've seen him close, you know. This is Brazil, they're all spectacular, but this boy, his ceiling is a bit higher. Palmeiras have a rich history of bringing through exciting young players, and their head coach, Abel Ferreira, insists he's scared that Chelsea could take more of their young players. Ferreira said, "For Chelsea, what I'm afraid of is that nobody else will leave, not staff, players, coaches, but nobody. Let them leave us alone. We want temptation to stay away. I just hope Chelsea don't take anyone else. I'm even scared, there's a lot of good work going on at the academy. Since we arrived here, there hasn't been a week when 4 or 5 players haven't come to train with us.